Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Namaste Wellness Show. I'm Laura, your host. Today our topic is going to be World Laughter Day, but really it's going to be more about, and you'll probably see my kittens in the back here. We're fostering some kittens, but anyway, we're actually going to be talking more about laughter yoga, which is the basis of World Laughter Day. And laughter yoga was really started back in 1995 by Dr. Madan Kataria. He's a medical doctor from Mumbai, India. It's very popular. Laughter yoga is around the world now. But for those of you who may not be familiar with it, it was started by a doctor in 1995. And what he did was he started with 5 people, him and his wife and 3 other friends of theirs. And they started doing jokes, telling each other jokes out in the park. But eventually the jokes got kind of old. And so Dr. Kataria went back and did more research. And he said he found that we can laugh on purpose. So really laughter yoga is a unique process whereby we laugh on purpose without comedy, jokes, and we do it as an exercise. So we're going to be talking about that today and how laughter yoga is also it's a mind-body practice. So it has health benefits. It helps with emotional issues, depression and that type of stuff. And it helps with many other things as well. So I am a laughter yoga teacher, but I have another laughter yoga teacher who's I have on the show today. And her name is Angela Essick Dykes. She is a laughter yoga teacher from Grand Rapids, Michigan in USA. And she's been teaching laughter yoga at Gilda's Club as well as Laughter Fest since 2012. Welcome, Angela, to the show.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. I'm sorry I have so much trouble pronouncing your name. I don't know why. It's spelled very easily and simply. It's just a pronunciation, Angela.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, thank you. So, and also thank you for being on the show short notice too, because originally I was trying to get, of course, we were both trained by Sue Ansari, and she wasn't able to do the show today. So she referred you. And so thanks so much for being here on short notice.
Certainly.
Yeah. So go ahead, Angela, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into teaching laughter yoga.
Yeah, I am a licensed professional counselor, and I have a private practice in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In 2008, January 2008, someone crossed the center line of a highway and hit me head on.
Ooh.
They thought I was dead. I think I did die at one point.
Wow.
Revived and spent a couple of months in the hospital, and 15 years later, I'm still doing therapies and having surgeries.
Wow.
Just almost finished remodeling my home for wheelchair because that may be part of my future, not so far away. Fortunately, I'm walking. Prior to the accident, I was a marathon runner.
Wow.
I very much miss running. So that was in 2008. I think it was 2010 or 11 that Gilda's Club Laugh Fest, which is a 10-day laughter event.
Wow.
With comedians, local and national and international, come to Grand Rapids for 10 days.
Yeah.
And it's a fundraiser for Gilda's Club. This particular year, I think it was 2011 probably,
Uh-huh.
I saw that listed as one of the events and went to the event carrying my yoga mat and my yoga clothes because
Okay.
it said laughter yoga.
Right.
And yoga was part of my therapy in healing from the accident.
Okay.
So as I walk into this room at Gilda's Club, there's this voice behind me that says, "You're not going to need that yoga mat today."
Okay.
And I thought,
Right.
clearly, that person did not read why we're here today. So I went over and just stood opposite the wall. Turns out that person was the leader, which was Sue.
Okay.
Sorry. And
Uh-huh.
he really did know that I didn't need the yoga mat.
Uh-huh.
As things got started, it was a little overwhelming for me. I had mild brain injury also in the accident.
Okay.
And the sound and the movement was overstimulating for me to the point that I just kind of shut down.
Okay.
But I stayed on the sidelines and watched what was happening. Honestly, I was a bit miffed that we weren't doing the yoga that I went to do.
Okay.
So
Right. Uh-huh.
the session ended and I left and kind of felt bad that I didn't put in a good effort for the leader who was Sue.
Yeah.
So I went back a second time that week. This
Okay.
time I got a little more involved because I knew what was happening. I did not take my yoga mat and I wore just normal clothes.
Okay.
And I participated on the sidelines, just enough to get involved a bit.
Right.
And left. And I thought, well, that wasn't so bad. So
Yeah.
there was another opportunity coming up. And I went again. This time I fully immersed myself in the hour-long laughter yoga session.
Okay.
At the end of that, I thought, well, that was pretty good. A few days later, I was talking to a friend who lived in Florida and was telling her about this experience. And she said, well, you sound really different, Angela. What's making you sound more energized? And I'm like, I kind of feel more energized. I feel something, but I'm not really sure what it is I feel.
Okay.
And I'm a therapist. I should know my feelings, I think, but I didn't know what I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And as my friend and I talked, it became evident to me that the feeling I was experiencing was joy. I hadn't felt joy in over 3 years because I've been so depressed and trying to figure out how to live and survive in a new normal. And I felt joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted Sue and said, when can I do this again with you? And she said she was going to do a training in Grand Rapids to train leaders of laughter yoga. And I'm like, sign me up. I'm going to be there.
Right.
So I went to the laughter yoga leader training. And during that training, she said that Dr. Kataria was going to be in the United States in Florida in a few months to lead a teacher training if anyone wanted to become a teacher.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to become a teacher. So I went to Florida, which was in Orlando, which is just next door to where my friend lives. So I got a double bonus in that trip. And spent a week with Dr. Kataria, and Sue was there and about 30 other people training for the teacher certification.
Okay.
And since then, I continued leading laughter yoga events for Gilda's Club. I lead during their 10-day Laugh Fest, and businesses will contact me. People who show up to these events, which are all free through Gilda's Club, will contact me separately and say, hey, I work at this place. Do you think you could do laughter yoga for us?
Nice.
And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll tailor it to meet their needs and their attendees and their space.
Okay.
And I go to those places. I've even, probably the most unique session I've offered was at a baby shower.
Oh,
I kept encouraging the mother not to laugh too hard because I couldn't deliver a baby.
Right there.
I don't know nothing about birthing babies, Miss Scarlett.
Right.
So from there, I've trained quite a few leaders in the state and from other states who come up to Grand Rapids for the training. And I've gone to other states. I've gone to Guam and led laughter yoga.
Wow.
Guam. My son happened to be stationed there at the time, and a visit with him. His wife, who is a school teacher, arranged for me to do laughter yoga with several classes at her school.
Nice.
Yeah. So I kind of take laughter yoga wherever I go. And there are many times, quite honestly, Laura, when I think I've got a session coming up, but I just don't have it in me to laugh.
Yeah.
Because life gets hard sometimes, disappointments and frustrations. I've been in a over 2-year-long remodeling process at my home.
Well, that sounds hard, but it sounds exciting too. Oh, I would love to. You're remodeling the home. I know that's hard work.
Right.
It's it goes on and drags on, but the finished product is, exciting, is what I mean.
It's very nice. It is very, very nice. I'm very grateful that, there's so much technology today that can make homes accessible for anyone.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go to these laughter sessions and get started, and I'll forget that I was ever dreading going. I just feel so much better once I start engaging with the laughter.
And it's so true. It's so true because a lot of people feel like, it's mainly adults, because we know that they say children laugh more naturally and more often than adults do. And that was one of the reasons Kataria started the laughter groups, because he knew it would be easier to engage adults in laughter as an exercise and as a group. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't feel like, I saw one video where Dr. Kataria did a YouTube video, and he was like, I just don't feel like laughing today. But that was one of the points that he made, is that's why he made it an exercise, because when you laugh on purpose, and we can, let people know that, again, saying that when we do laughter club or laughter group or laughter session or laughter exercises, we're actually exercising our laughter. So even if you don't feel laughter, these particular exercises that we do help you to practice your laughter. And that's why another reason we do the laughter is for the health benefits. So maybe share a little bit about the health benefits that you get from laughter, because, mental, emotional, and as well as spiritual.
Right. One of the taglines that I use in my laughter yoga sessions is that we're just going to laugh for the health of it.
For the health of it, yeah.
Health of it. There's a TH there. Yeah, and that we can totally fake laugh and still get the same physical and psychological benefits as if it's genuine laughter. We don't truly have to have a reason to laugh other than just a willingness to laugh.
Right. So you simulate the laughter. I know when I took the teacher training with Linda Turculus, I don't know if you know her, but I took the teacher training with her out in Chicago, and she made the difference there. She said, instead of saying that it's fake laughter, is simulated laughter. So that's how we're exercising. Cool. Yeah. And so, we've heard the term fake it till you make it, and it's okay to say that, but I know she liked to use the term exercising or simulating the laughter, because the body doesn't, according to Dr. Kataria, he did this research and found that just like the body, they say the body doesn't know the difference between good stress and bad stress. So if you practicing, because stress is not totally bad, but it's how your body interprets it. It's how you interpret the stress that causes the difference in your body chemistry. Because we also know that when we're doing laughter yoga, it helps to the body to produce the natural painkillers in the body, the endorphins, if you will, right? Those hormones that are known as painkillers, painkilling hormones and stuff like that. And it actually just naturally uplifts your mood, because I've heard so many people say, people that have come to laughter sessions that I've done, that one lady told me that, I was doing a laughter yoga session at our annual laughter day. Don't hurt it. Uh-oh. The mommy's being a little rough with one of the kittens. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the kitten did something she wasn't supposed to be doing, right? But anyway, I was doing this laughter session, and the lady immediately, as soon as I started, she walked out. And after we finished the session, I continued with the session. And after the session, she came over to me and she said, I'm so sorry. I walked out. It didn't have anything to do with you, but I never really, I didn't know I had to feel my emotions. So I was like, wow. I said, I told her, hey, no problem. And that happens to some people, because a lot of people that I work with doing even massage therapy or yoga or whatnot, when I ask them, notice how you feel. And some people don't always know how they feel. And you just mentioned, as a therapist, you mentioned, I should know how I feel, right? Well, everybody doesn't necessarily, may not necessarily know how they feel. So, so that's just wanted to point that out. So, yeah.
An interesting serendipitous discovery that I made, and I didn't make it. It was just new for me. I was watching a really sad movie with Sally Fields many years ago in my family room, and I was crying while watching the movie. My daughter was in the kitchen and couldn't see me, but she said, "What are you laughing about?"
Oh, you were laughing so hard you were crying?
I'm not laughing. I'm crying.
Oh.
And the laughter sounds and crying sounds are the same. The way we know the difference is through our visual. When we see someone laughing, their body responds differently than when they're crying. But without that visual cue, we can't distinguish between laughter and crying.
Really? I never heard that or knew that. Okay. That's new.
Yeah. Well, let me laugh here, and I'll have my affect going with my laughter, and you tell me, or my crying, whichever it is, and you tell me which you hear, okay?
Okay.
What did you hear? Laughter or
at
crying?
At first I start, maybe because you said this, at first it sounded like you were laughing, but then I guess I questioned myself, is she really crying? So I don't know, because it sounded to me, it sounded like you were laughing.
My intention with that sound was laughter.
Okay.
But you see how it could sound like crying as well.
So, okay, demonstrate a crying sound then. Okay. Well, I guess how it could be, if you just hear it out the blue and you didn't get that explanation, then I probably would have thought that might have been laughing too. But I could tell a slight difference though. That's interesting.
The visual cue is what lets us know more accurately.
Okay. I never heard that, but that does make sense. So, okay. Well, this is one thing I like to say, because I am a yoga teacher, and I heard when you said when you went to your first laughter session with Sue, that you took your yoga mat because you heard the word yoga. Now, when I first learned about laughter yoga, because I am a registered yoga teacher, and I was teaching chair yoga at a senior center, assisted care facility. And the activity director came and said, "Hey, we're having a laughter yoga session. Want to invite you to come." And I thought to myself, laughter yoga? I said, I've been teaching yoga for some years now. I never heard of laughter yoga. So I thought it was a unique concept. And when I went, I thought it was interesting. And I, like you, I didn't take it too seriously at first. And then I guess what impacted me was I knew that it was interesting. I knew at some point I wanted to incorporate it into my yoga offerings. But it wasn't until a few years later that I was actually experiencing what I guess you would call a dark night of the soul. And it was just something that I was personally going through. And I kind of felt like I had lost my joy. I'd always considered myself to be a kind of uplift person. I mean, my family always said I was too sensitive and I always took things too hard and the wrong way. But I still felt like I was a positive minded person. And at this particular time, I kind of felt like I had lost my joy. And I remembered the laughter yoga from that session at the senior center. And I just started doing research online. And I found that there were so many people using laughter yoga, people that had cancer, people that one lady said she was living, I don't know what country she was living in, but there was a lot of discord and violence. And I don't know if there was war going on in her country. And she said that her father died in the conflict, and then she eventually developed cancer. And she said someone suggested to her to try laughter yoga out the blue. She had never heard of it. And this was, I want to say, maybe in 2008 when I first learned about it. And then when I started researching more, it was probably 2012, because I did the training in 2013 with Sue. And so anyway, I'm sorry. So anyway, I had kind of saw, when I realized everything that people were using laughter yoga for, I said, well, let me, take this more seriously. And then, of course, Sue's story, and I know Sue's story. And when I was doing her training, and she admitted right in our training session that she was contemplating, or she had decided she was going to commit suicide. And when she told that story, and Sue is also, she's a vegan cook, a vegetarian cook, and she made us a beautiful lunch. Yeah. And so I was eating this food, and when she talked about she had planned her suicide, and I'm thinking, oh my God, the food almost came out of my mouth. And I said, this is when I knew I really wanted to take this seriously. And that's how I got on board. And so I know it has helped so many people. And many people feel, when you first present it to them, they feel that it's just something that's just kind of silly, and why would I laugh on purpose? But like you said, when they actually experience it, I think people need to experience a laughter yoga session, and then they see how good they feel after, if they're able to get past, oh, this is weird, or why am I doing this, or this is silly, and that type of thing. And the other thing I want to say about the yoga teacher part, as a yoga teacher, I will have my students bring their mats, because as you know, we also do a yoga nidra, which is a type of yoga nidra, which is a relaxation. And Dr. Kataria does say that when you do laughter, if you laugh too hard, it can bring up other emotions too, right?
Right.
So some people have this fullness of emotion that comes up, and you may start crying during a laughter session as well. So that, has been experienced before. So that's why at the end of your laughter yoga, you do like this meditative laughter, or they call it yoga nidra, or they call it yoga meditation, laughter meditation, where you kind of bring that energy, that laughter energy that you have brought out, you kind of bring it down, and then allow the body to go back to, I guess you could say, normal, or more of a neutral feeling. So
a grounded feeling.
Thank you. A grounded feeling. So, we do the laughter grounding exercise and then the meditation. So I will generally will have people come and bring their mat, or even at a yoga class, I'll add a little laughter yoga. And I know more teachers may be doing that also. So yeah. So tell us a little bit about Gilda's Club. What is that exactly? Because I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it.
Well, I don't work for Gilda's. My association with them is purely as a volunteer. Gilda's Club is a result of Gilda Radner, who had cancer and said, the one thing cancer can't take away from me is laughter. And so Gilda's Club, it's I know it's national. I don't know if it's international, but I know it's national. You guys have Gilda's Club over on the east side of the state. We have, there's two that I know of near me here in Grand Rapids area. They provide services for people who have cancer, who have had cancer, who know someone with cancer or has known someone with cancer. So pretty much anybody can be a member at Gilda's Club. Membership is free. They provide all kinds of activities and services to just build community with people who, kind of have an understanding of life on the cancer journey. They have doctors, medical professionals come in and speak about different elements of physical treatment and healing. They have exercise classes of every sort. People volunteer their services to help people who are walking the cancer journey. They have programs for children. One night, maybe it's several nights a week. I don't go on a daily basis, but I know they provide meals also, like dinner. So for people who are coming home from work and they have a group that they're going to attend, they don't have to rush home, try to get dinner, and then come to the group. They just come to Gilda's, have dinner, have their family there, and they all go to their own programs.
Okay.
It's a really beautiful program.
Do they have, because this show is actually aired on a couple stations. It's aired on the healthcare station, but it's also held on their cancer station too. Is there a website that you can share for Gilda's Club? Because it sounds like something, like you said, I don't know where all of the places it's at. And I have to say duh to myself, because now that you're mentioning all of that, Sue referred me to it's one of the hospitals here in the Detroit area, and maybe they're a part of Gilda's Club. I don't know, but they've invited me. I think last year was the third time to do laughter yoga with ovarian cancer survivors. So I wonder if they're a part of Gilda's Club. But anyway, is there a website or something that you're aware of?
I'm going to speak it first and then I'll spell it.
Okay.
GildaSclubGR.org. So it's GILDAS, Gilda's Club, CLUBGR, as in Grand Rapids, .org. GildaSclubGR.org.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, I appreciate that. So now I have heard of the Laughter Summit. In fact, a friend of mine in Chicago, I did the teacher training with her, Ellen. She told me about the and I do get emails, but I've never been, and I didn't do too much research. And she was saying, "Oh, we got to go one year, so maybe I'll come maybe this will influence me to maybe come to the summit. If do they have them every year? I'm assuming they didn't have it the year of COVID, but will they, or have they had it already this year? And if you can tell us a little more about the Laughter Summit.
I have not attended a Laughter Summit.
Oh.
So I can't really speak to that.
I'm sorry. I said it wrong. I meant to say Laughter Fest. My bad.
Okay, it's Laugh Fest.
Oh, Laugh Fest.
And yes, it is annual.
Okay.
It's always in March. Usually, I think they start on the first Thursday of March and then go for 10 days.
Okay.
The events are mostly in Grand Rapids area, but also throughout West Michigan. I know they'll have some events like in Holland or Zealand. There are big name comedians who come in. I know Betty White came in one year.
Oh, wow.
And so there are, fees, ticket prices for the big events, but then they have many events that have no charge to them.
Okay. So obviously they've had oh, go ahead.
That Laugh Fest GR, Laugh Fest, LAUGHFEST GR.org is the Laugh Fest website.
Okay. And that's always held in Grand Rapids, hence the GR. Is that correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now, do you know the one coming up for 2024? Is that one already scheduled for a date that you're aware of, or just go to the website?
I'm sure it's they have it in plans, but I'm not employee, so
okay. You just lead the laughter sessions there.
I wait for the email.
Okay. So I know you're only on audio today, and I think I have these kittens here for our video. If we have any video watchers, they're going to be seeing the cats. The kittens are giving us entertainment on the video, but do you want to tell us a little bit about how you do laughter yoga? And
what do you mean by how?
Well, because I was saying earlier, laughter, well, you know how we start with the clapping and then some of the exercises we do and the breathing and, just a little bit like that.
Well, I start, with the introduction, like you started with today, a little history synopsis of laughter yoga. And then kind of as icebreakers to get people interacting, I will do the Eastern and Western greetings.
Right.
Since the days of COVID, we don't touch hands any longer. We'll bump elbows.
Right. Or you can do the fake. Or one thing I've done in January, I did with a group. We just did like fake handshakes like you're gonna. Have you ever done the fake hand, to say hello? Or, we do it with laughter, but you do like a fake high five or something like that. Yeah. In addition to the elbow bump. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And from there, people, tend to get into their playful childlike spirit and they relax and forget that they look silly because everybody looks silly.
Right.
And just start engaging with fun. One thing I'll do at the end of the session after we've done our grounding activity is I will ask them to think about when they were first deciding to come to laughter yoga, how they were feeling about it. Were they excited? Were they skeptical? Were they coming begrudgingly because somebody said you're going to go with me? And I'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, to just rate how they were feeling. Like 10 is like, I can hardly wait to get there. This is going to be amazing. To 1 is like, I would rather go mow the grass in the snow than go to this laughter thing.
Right.
And just ask them to evaluate where they were before they came to Laugh Fest, and to just hold that number in their mind. And then I'll say, now you've just experienced an hour of laughter yoga. How do you feel now on a scale of 1 to 10? It was like, wow, that was the best thing I've ever done today or in my life. To 1 is like, I really should have mowed the grass in the snow today.
Right.
And to just evaluate where they are now after the event. And then I'll ask, okay, whose first number before laughter yoga is higher than their second number? Raise your hand. I've never seen anybody raise their hand here. And then I'll say, if your first number and your second number are the same, raise your hand. Sometimes 1 or 2 people will raise their hand. And then I'll say, if your second number is higher than your first number, raise your hand. The vast majority are raising their hand, if not all of them.
Right.
And then I'll say, this is what laughter yoga does for you.
So it's an experiential practice. So, don't knock it until you try it, right? And
exactly. And you get out of it what you put into it.
This is true. I always
actually get more out of it than you put into it, because you may not, like, with me, I didn't realize the benefit until a few days later. That I had joy.
Yeah. And I think that was the key with Sue. We mentioned earlier about she had planned her own suicide, and once someone suggested that she used the laughter yoga at she was doing a recovery group with her ladies, and nobody knew that her plans to commit suicide. But she said as she started doing the laughter yoga with the ladies in her recovery group, I think they were ovarian cancer recovery group, that as time went on, she realized she stopped thinking about, she was not thinking about it anymore. So as you experience it and as you do it over time, and you said, you did it, and then a few days later you realize, oh, I feel more joyful. So that's one of the one of these symptoms, I guess, if you will, of doing laughter yoga. These things kind of, you don't realize it at first, but eventually you tell that you feel lighter, you feel more joy. You're not getting as angry about things as little things that used to bother you may not bother you as much. So that's why we call it's a practice like anything else. If you're lifting weights because you want to build muscle mass, if you're running, you were a runner, if you practice your running because you want to do a marathon or whatever it is, so you want to feel more joyful over time, so you practice your laughter yoga. And Dr. Kataria says if you practice laughter yoga, 15-20 minutes a day is all you need, and you get the health benefits, you get physical health benefits, you get emotion. I call it the 5 H's. When you practice your laughter yoga regularly, your relationships become more harmonious, you get healthier, you feel happier, more natural happiness. And by the way, Dr. Kataria says there is a difference between joy and happiness, right? He says that when we practice our laughter on a regular basis, we become more joyful from the inside out, whereas happiness is usually more dependent on outside circumstances, other people, whether you're happy on your job, whether you have enough money, whether your children are happy and healthy, those are all outside circumstances that, you feel your happiness is dependent on. But as you practice and take responsibility for your own laughter, your own joy, and you practice something like laughter yoga, then your joy becomes more from an internal experience than depending on outside circumstances. So in that regard, and talking about, we haven't mentioned World Laughter Day. that the purpose of World Laughter Day, according to Dr. Kataria, is to spread more peace, right?
Exactly. World peace through laughter.
Exactly. So, so you want to say a little bit more maybe about World Laughter Day? Have you been to, I know they do World Laughter parties and clubs all over the world. Have you ever been to any special World Laughter Day events? I haven't yet,
No,
but
no, I did a Zoom one time,
okay.
which is really cool because people all over the world were calling in to this laughter time. And, you know, it's kind of like love. Laughter is the same language in all languages.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you, when people ask me why is it called, well, you know, what is, they don't see anything yoga in doing laughter yoga. What is the yoga part? Well, for one thing, it's the breathing, because you mentioned one of the things that you can define laughter yoga as is it's a combination of childlike, playful exercises, which you mentioned being childlike
Right.
and playful, and yogic breathing. The
Right.
other thing that I say is that laughter, when we're laughing, we're basically in the present moment. So when you're in a state of laughter, and I guess even crying for, you know, but you'd rather be laughing, that it brings you to the present moment. So that's one of the things that we emphasize in yoga practice, is being in the present moment, because that's where our power is, right?
Yes. And I explain that the yoga is not the poses that people tend to think of when they think of yoga. Oh, I can't do that, you know, stand on one foot with my arms spread out.
Right, right.
Yoga is the harmony of unity and the unity. Let me see, how do I say this? The yoga is the harmony of spirit, mind, and body.
Yes,
So
yes.
anything we do that brings harmony and unity into our mind, body, and spirit is yoga. So it can be
Absolutely.
laughter that brings body, mind, and spirit into unity and harmony, which is being in that one moment all together.
Mm-hmm.
It could be weeding in your garden.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't necessarily include the intentional breathing exercises or specific poses.
Mm-hmm.
It's just anything that brings harmony and unity to your mind, body, and spirit in that moment. Some people say that prayer does that for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you know, everybody does yoga.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know it.
Yes, yes. One of my favorite books is Autobiography of a Yogi. Paramahansa Yogananda is his autobiography. I'm not familiar. He was actually a Swami, but he also, I guess he also practiced yoga. But he said that a person can be a yogi, or yogini is the female, yogi is the male, um, can be a yoga person without even going into a yoga studio. So I really,
Right.
yeah. So thank you so much. I really am so happy to have you on the show. I did not know your story. Sue told me that you did have a real interesting story. I didn't know about your accident or anything like that. So I think it was a very poignant story, and very interesting for people to know that you can be in any type of condition in your life,
Yes.
still find joy. Not, you know, it's not a right now thing. I'm not saying if you're down in depression and you're gonna, you know, laugh and it's gonna cure your everything in your life. No, but that's why we promote it as an exercise. And just know that when we're laughing, we're exhaling. So when we're exhaling and breathing deeper, it's actually oxygenating our body and our brain. You know, there's so many health benefits. But real quick, because I know we're almost getting close to time, Angela, if you'd like to share your contact information, you're welcome to do so. If you know, for anyone who wants to contact you for more information, because you did say you also are do therapy as well. So would you want to share your contact information?
Well, I use my email address, which is spelled like my name, and it looks like Angela, pronounced Angela, Angela dot ESS as in Sam, ICK dot D as in David, YKES as in Sam at gmail.com. So that looks like Angela.Essick.Dykes at gmail.com.
Okay. And would you spell that one more time? Spell it out one more time.
Sure. ANGELA dot ESSICK dot DYKES at gmail.com.
Okay, so if you any viewers or well, no, I said viewers, but our viewers or listeners, if you want to contact Angela about doing laughter yoga, because it sounds like you also do it on Zoom, and you also do laughter leader training, you can contact her. And those of you in my area, you can probably contact both of us. I also do laughter leader training, and you can reach out to me at namastewellness.com. That's NAMASTEWELLNESS.com. Send me an email and let me know what you think of the show. Any comments that you have or questions, I will always try to answer them as soon as the next show, or I can just shoot you an email back. So Angela, thank you for being on the show today, and keep laughing. And until next time, everyone stay safe, stay well. Please tune in next week for our next show, or every Wednesday at 11 a.m. for the Namaste Wellness Show. Until then, stay safe, stay well. Namaste.